In my last video, I said I was listening to Suits while I was filming a video.
I'm also listening to Suits.
Then at one point, I said I had to turn this show down. And apparently my Canadian comment section was appalled.
I'll tell you one thing we Canadians don't do. Attempt to make a coherent video while blasting an entirely unrelated video through our headphones.
Here's another. In Canada, and probably anywhere outside the US, it's considered disrespectful to listen to dialogue while talking to someone. Please, don't.
How about respecting your audience and not listening to something else? Clearly you're American. It's rude.
I'm listening to Suits while I'm talking to you. Yup, American, because that's fucking rude.
Why would you waste my time if you need to listen to Suits? This Canadian thing said is rude.
The first time I saw a comment like that, my immediate reaction was, this is a joke, they're just joking with me. Because to me, that's pure talent. Being able to listen to a show in my headphones and speak authentically to a camera, you're mad at what? I just showed you one of the ways that I move through life. And no matter how many times I tried to explain to people that I have AuDHD, I tried to explain and then explain some more. The comments kept coming, so I guess thanks for the engagement, but I want to talk about why I do this sometimes. Because I wasn't in conversation with another person. I was talking to a camera by myself, and I was using a familiar show to help me unmask and speak more authentically. When I am sitting alone in front of a camera, I become super aware. Every thought, every word, everything I am going to say, and then thoughts coming in, it's a lot. A familiar show gives part of my brain something safe and predictable to focus on. Because I already know what happens in the show, I don't have to actively follow it. It helps quiet the noise in my head. It also makes the camera feel less intense. And additionally, I stop monitoring everything that I do and every word that I say. It's not distracting me from filming. It's actually helping me to relax enough so that I can speak more naturally. And that's what I mean when I say that it helps me to unmask. And obviously this isn't a medical explanation, I'm just trying to explain how it feels in my body. This is not only something I experience while filming. Sometimes my brain feels like the back of a porcupine. Everything is sharp. Everything is sticking up, every sound, every thought, every little interruption feels like it's catching on something. And when I put a familiar show on, it's almost like putting a heavy blanket over my brain. Not in a way that shuts me off, in a way that smooths everything down enough for me to function. It gives my brain something familiar to hold on to, so the rest of me can relax enough to speak. This is a tool. It helps me unmask. It helps me to talk. It helps me to show up in the ways that feel real instead of forced. And when I said I need to turn this down because the show's getting good, was actually the perfect example of how I use my tool to know when it's time to take a break. Because I took a break at that point, and people don't see that. I'm AuDHD, which is autism and ADHD together. And how that shows up can depend on so many factors. It can start with how you were raised, what environment you're currently in. Have you had to learn how to unmask after masking for most of your life? Are you just discovering tools, or have you had tools all along? It can truly show up different for everybody. Sometimes I need sound just so I can complete a task, and that can be things like cleaning my home, taking care of myself, or if I want to do something like filming, it's a tool for me. Sometimes I need the quiet and complete silence because my body feels like pure electricity, and any small movement or sound will make me shoot lasers. Watching a show that I've already seen means that I don't really have to split my attention between the two. So no, this isn't something I would do in every situation. If I were sitting across from someone having an actual conversation, that would be different. I would not sit there with big headphones on listening to a show while somebody was trying to talk to me because I know they'd find that rude. But the truth is, if I needed it, I would like to, because I am capable of doing both. So instead, I use other tools like earplugs that can still let the sound in. I can still hear you, talk to you, and be part of the conversation. So now, the sound around me isn't hitting my nervous system at full volume. And when that does happen, I shut down. I'm unable to talk. I am not enjoying that conversation. I am no longer in the moment. I am just trying to survive my environment. So sometimes using a tool like that is what allows me to go out, meet people, have conversation.
Nice bike.
Oh, thank you very much. Nice trailer. Be able to stay present in that moment. That is accessibility, and accessibility isn't always obvious. It is not always a ramp or a parking space or something people immediately recognize as a support need. Sometimes accessibility is letting someone wear earplugs or letting them sit in a quiet space. Sometimes it's about not taking something personally because it's different than something that you would do. And sometimes it's pausing before you decide that something is rude, just because it didn't match the way that you were raised or the way you were taught to behave. And that is what I really want people to understand, is that a lot of times people aren't trying to be rude or disrespectful. They're trying to function. They're trying to stay in their environment, in that room. I think people hear I'm listening to a show and talking, and that means I'm not paying attention. Something can look strange from the outside and still be functional for the person doing it. This was not me ignoring a person. This was me using a tool so that I could speak more naturally on camera. And before we judge somebody for behaving differently or doing something different, maybe we ask, could that be a tool that's helping them function in their environment? And this whole conversation has only been about sound and 2 tools. Don't get me started on physical sensations or smells, because that is something worth talking about.